raised any eyebrows were it not for a tax feud over millions of shillings. Now, the dispute has exposed another well-kept secret, the Kenyatta family link to the mega road project. Pages 4 and 5 is covering that story. This is quite interesting. I mean, I'm sure this doesn't shock many Kenyans, because we've gotten to a point where we expect scandals to arise from major projects in the country, and this is just one of them. I'm seeing a conflict of interest bill passed by MPs is awaiting presidential assent. So we're going to keep following up on this and see how this pans out. But that's a story covered on the Daily Nation, pages 4 and also 5. And moving on, I see IEBC begins reviewing a petition to kick out Passaris from House. So 4 petitioners submit a petition to the Electoral Commission seeking the ouster of Nairobi woman representative Esther Passaris. The polls agency will consider whether the recall petitions meets the legal threshold. This is a story covered on page 8. And on the education sector, why head teachers want parents to pay more fees as debate rages on the fate of free education given reduced budgetary allocation by government. Head teachers are seeking clearance to charge parents extra fees to plug the shortfall. They argue the cash crunch will disrupt operations in public schools next term. Quite unfortunate. Just yesterday, William Ruto, the president, confirmed or rather reassured that education is a sector we cannot compromise on and parents are not to worry. But from the look of things, kwa ground, vile mambo inaendelea, head teachers want parents to pay more fees because even as the president is reassuring and promising, there's little or no action being taken. So page 10 is covering that story, and we really pray for immediate action and sobriety around the education sector. Politics here covering 10 hurdles Ruto opponents face ahead of the 2027 poll. Politicians working to topple the Kenya Kwanza regime in the next elections must overcome several obstacles on the path to crafting a winning formula. This is a story covered on page 7, and it's unfortunate. You were saying it yesterday that it's no longer about conviction, it's strategies.
Yeah, it's just strategies.
Because elections now have been reduced to strategies and
not sticking.
There
are things called manifesto. What you need to do and what you plan to do. But unfortunately now it's all about strategy, what is appealing. Not out of conviction, but out of people's desperation. So you pick, this is what is desperate, this is where people are hurting and all, and then sort of you come up with something. And then once you now ascend into power, you just throw that, it becomes just another small piece of paper that had all those hopes and dreams written there. And so it's just but a strategy to ascend to the big office. But then again, when you get there, you forget all that you had promised the people, because I believe there's no need of promising and telling people so many things. Kenyans can tell. And the beauty of it all, especially now with the modern world that we are living in, information is out there.
It's out there.
What people can see also, I remember during the campaigns, there was one candidate who kept saying, Wajinga waliisha Kenya. And I don't think Wajinga wamerudi Kenya. I actually think we continue to be more enlightened, more and more. And that's why you see even the demands that Kenyans are putting towards their elected leaders, because they know the role of parliament, the role of the executive, the judiciary. And so if they can just come, be open with Kenyans, this is the situation, this is where we are as a country, we can only be able to do this and this. Have a national conversation. I believe Wakenya wataelewa, and we move forward now as a country, as opposed to these strategies. So you, of course, by strategy, if you ask me, it's just another polite name of lies. So these strategies, you just come, promise us heaven, promise us all those things, na hata huwezi tupitisha hapa kwa hii ceiling, yet you are promising us heaven. Na hata kupitisha hii hapa ceiling.
We've not even gotten close.
Yes, but here you are telling us, you know, tumesoma kwa Bible,
Yeah.
third realm, third heaven. Hata hujatupishi hapa kwa ceiling. So it's good to be realistic, but of course,
Yes.
it's their call.
It's their call.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's where we find ourselves in.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's unfortunate, quite unfortunate. And especially because, you know, for me, I usually say when it comes to politics and matters government, play around with everything else.
Yes.
But when it comes to the crucial things, education sector, the health sector, I mean, we do not joke about those things. And right now, that's the problem we're
Those
facing.
two, health, education,
Yeah.
and food.
And food.
You know, now with the food now, those three, if you sort out those three, and that's why I'm saying, as
None
a
of the
country,
rest matters.
let's have those conversations.
Yeah.
And then, because we are in a tight position, especially with the issue of debt, we became reckless in terms of our borrowing over the last, should we say, more than now, the last regime and now this new regime.
Yeah.
The last 15 years or so, our borrowing has been on another level. And so the debt issue, we cannot run away from that debt issue. And so we need, if you give Kenyans the real picture, tell them this is the much we owe. This is when the maturity is expected. So we are expected to repay by this period. This is the interest. Tell Kenyans. And then from there, we will now know from our budget, this is the amount we are able to raise. From this amount we are able to raise, this amount goes to debt repayment.
Yes.
Then this one is for salaries because the government has to pay the salaries. And then the remaining bit, now we can do the development, health, agriculture, education, and all. Ikiwa tutajenga barabara, well and good. If not, we see how, again, we can be able to maneuver. Yeah,
because what we need is to take care of those important elements. Because even in your own basic needs, you have priorities.
And you budget. You know, that's why we keep, financial fitness every Monday. We talk about a budget.
There are priorities.
There are priorities.
And then there are things you can forego. There's something called an opportunity cost. You can forego certain things. All these projects that make someone look good and wow, unatenga, unafanya sijui nini. But the most important thing is these three areas. If we can take care of them, I believe that is what the people are crying about, in all honesty.
Not much, by the way.
Not much. Not much.
Just getting the basics right.
Get the basics right.
Grand projects, huge, infrastructure and all. Kenyans, we just want the small, then we can grow from there.
Yes.
But now, when you want to go to the grand, yet the basics, and we are not getting them right, there is a mix-up there.
It becomes a problem. Maybe you can tell us what you have there.
The Standard are focusing on what's happening recently with our neighbors. And there are photos there of two gentlemen. This is the President, William Ruto, and Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary, who is also the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Musalia Mudavadi. And they go with the headline, Betraying Kenyans. So apparently these two gentlemen are betraying Kenyans. How? Abducted abroad. Kenyans are being abducted, tortured, and dumped across East African borders. Yet their government watches in silence. From human rights activist Mwabili Mwagodi, left drugged and traumatized in Diani after 4 days of torment in Tanzania, to the earlier seizure and sexual assault of Boniface Mwangi and Ugandan journalist Agatha Atuhaire. The pattern is chilling. With no formal charges, no consular access, and no accountability demanded, these incidents raise the alarm on a brewing diplomatic disaster. At the center of this storm are President William Ruto and Foreign Affairs Cabinet Secretary Musalia Mudavadi, who have failed to condemn the violations or defend Kenya's sovereignty. Critics now accuse the state of betrayal, worse, of complicity. That's a story that is on page 4. I remember when Boniface was in TZ. The only time I heard Mudavadi comments was when he said that as Kenyans, we should be careful what we say in foreign countries. And also he said that also that whatever happened also showed Kenyans that we should not take for granted the freedom that we enjoy. So just heaping praise on themselves as opposed to doing again what is right. Because whether they criticize the government or not, they are Kenyan citizens.
It's true.
And they have a government. This government should speak out against this person, because when they attack Beatrice, a foreign agent or foreign country, they are not attacking you per se as a person, but they are attacking the very sovereign state of Kenya. Maybe that's something. I'm not so good when it comes to international relations, but
you're not bad either.
Yeah, so that's a story on page 4.
Yes.
Page 6 and 7, policy confusion, cuts cripple public schools, government's shrinking education budget and policy flip-flops leave schools reeling, parents paying more, and the promise of free education in doubt. So that's a story, and you have highlighted the same, and we have mentioned the same in as far as the critical sectors of our economy. So you can read that inside the Standard. Hard decisions Ruto must make to win to win back Kenyans' confidence. They read that as well. It's covered there. And former dock workers union officials and a section of Mijikenda elders have alleged a plot to tarnish the reputation of Kenya Ports Authority Managing Director William Ruto, to have him removed from office. And IMF flags 175 billion shillings fuel levy plan over debt transparency risks. Then Gachagua and Kalonzo allies allege plot to assassinate them, and that's a story inside the Standard. And the pullout this morning, it's the Financial Standard pullout alarm as Kenya's debt spirals past 11.5 trillion mark. Wow. So it's sort of, they say, crisis. Borrowing has climbed sharply by 33% as at May this year. So it's a story on pages 24 and 25. So our debt now stands at 11.5 trillion. Wow.
Those are staggering numbers.
Huge numbers. So that's what's being reported in the Standard, and so you can grab your favorite copy of your Standard and get to see what is being reported this morning. And finally, the Business Daily, the WhatsApp, they say secret WhatsApps reveal price fixing in steel farms, seized executives' phones used to nail cartels. Tribunal dismisses suit against 338.8 million shilling. And then I see institutional investors overtake individuals in NSE share trading. And then Africa can feed itself and the world, but it will take more than technology. It will demand locally driven innovation. I love that quote and the story that is on page 9 inside the Business Daily. That's what's happening. Grab your favorite copy, read, and also we keep saying, we as believers also, we get to see how we can pray for the nation as well.
Amazing. And it's time for us now to have a look at the video of the day. Let's have a look at it, and then when we come back, we will talk about it.